reviewing this chart, I have made up a paper that has not only the time measurements on it, but all the measurements we're going to be learning in the future on one paper for you to study by. And I'm going to give it to you to put in your math folder. But this would be, when at the top it says time measurements. Actually, it just says measurements at the top, and then it says time, and these are listed. This is what you would need to see. I don't think they're in this exact order, because I actually started with how many seconds are in a minute, I believe, and that's not even on here. But how many seconds are in a minute? 60. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes an hour. So let's read the chart. 1 hour equals 15 minutes. 1 half hour equals 30 minutes. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 1 day equals 24 hours. 1 week equals 7 days. 1 month equals 28 to 31 days. 1 year equals 12 months. 1 year equals about 52 weeks. All of you need to be doing this. I hear me and I hear Olivia. 1 year equals 365 days. 1 leap year equals 366 days. All right, so I will be giving that to you probably tomorrow. Some people are already getting it today because they're going to be leaving or because they just need it. But everybody will have it by tomorrow. All right. On Friday, we were studying about when the minute hand was after the 30, and we were saying that you would say time so many minutes before the next hour. Okay? So if the minute hand was after the 30, then we would count backwards. How many of you remember that? Okay? Today, eyes up here, please. Today we're going to learn it the opposite way. So we're going to learn when it's less than 30. So we're going to say how many minutes have passed since that hour started. So, in other words, this is 12 o'clock, and this would be so many minutes after 12. So 12, what is this? 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 minutes after 12.
12, 13.
Okay? So anytime it's less than 30, you're just going to assert. Instead of saying 12, 13, that's one way to say it, but then just switch the 13 in front of the 12 and say 13 minutes after 12. Okay? So anytime it's less than 30, when the minute hand's 30 or above, you're going to count backwards. Right? But when it's in the less than 30, if it's somewhere below 30, then you're going to just switch their places, switch the hour and the minutes places. Let's start doing it and see. Let's first of all look at the blue box. Everybody looking at the blue box. First thing I'm going to ask you is the minute hand at less than 30?
Yes.
Yes, so we're not going to have to count backwards, are we? So shorthand first, where is it?
4.
At the 4. Longhand by 5s and then by 1s. So here's by 5. So what is that?
25.
25. Count by 1s. 26, 27. So in that blue box, that first clock is 4:27. But since it's less than 30, what are we going to do? We're just going to switch. So we say 27 minutes after 4. Does everybody see that? All right, now we're going to do the one we were doing on Friday. So this time, the time is this. Okay, is that one after 30? Please stop tearing up your razor and pay attention.
Yes.
Is this one after 30?
Yes.
Yes. So this time we're going to have to count backwards. Shorthand first. 1. Very good. Longhand by 5s. It's just past the 9. So what would 9 be? 9 is not 40. 45. Please put your pencil down and pay attention to what I'm teaching. Thank you. I'm still in the blue box. Okay, so 45, count my ones after 45. 46, 47. So if you look at it, it says it is 147. Since it is more than 30, now we're going to count backwards. So go back up to o'clock and count backwards. 5, the next hour gonna be?
2.
It is 1 now, so it's going to be 2. So 13 minutes before 2. All right, everybody understanding that? All right, let's look at number 1. All right, number 1 looks like this. Okay, so is it after 30?
No.
No. So we're going to do the switch, aren't we? All right, so let's start with shorthand first. What's the shorthand? 9. So everybody put a 9 in that hour spot. Eric, let's not hold her head up, please. Hold your paper still while you write so it doesn't wiggle. All right, now let's look at the long hand. Long hand by 5s and then by 1. So 1, 2, 3. 3 is what? 15. So count by 16, 17, 18. So what time is it? 9:18. Since it's less than 30, what are we going to do? Switch. So just put 18 minutes after 9. It is 18 minutes after 9. Let's look at the next one. All right, the next one looks like this. All right, so is it more than 30?
No.
No, it's less than 30, so we're going to do the switch. All right, shorthand first.
After
3. Just put a 3. It's after the 3. It's nowhere close to the 4. Long hand by 5s. 20. It's right on the 4. You don't even have to count by 1. It is right on the 4, so it is 3:20. Since its minutes is less than 30, what are we going to do? Switch. So we're going to say 20 minutes after 3. So just switch their places. Anytime it's less than 30, you just get to do the switch. All right, next one looks like this. All right, is this one less than 30?
No.
No. So that means we're going to have to? No. We just said switch. You're not paying attention. You switch when it's less than 30. This one is more than 30. So what do we do when it's more than 30? We're going to count backwards to see how many minutes it is into the next hour. Eyes up here, please. All right, so shorthand first.
10.
10. So everybody put a 10 for your hours. Long hand by 5s and then by 1s because it is not right on the money. So it is just past what number?
8.
8. So 8 would be
10:46.
40. No. What is 8? 8 times 5. 40. So then we count by 1s and we get 41. So it is 10:41. And you should not be trying to do it ahead of me, please. All right, now we have to count backwards because it is more than 30. The minute hand is more than 30. So we're going to come up to the top and we have to count all the way back to our minute hand. So, everybody look up here. 5, 10, 15. Can we say 20? No, because it's not to the 8. So after 15, we have to count by 1s. 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 minutes before the next hour. What is the next hour? 11. It is at 10:41. So the next hour will be 11. So 19 minutes before 11. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, this is what the next one looks like. Is it more than 30?
Yes.
Yes.
Just barely.
This is 30 right here. Is it more than 30?
Yes.
So what are we going to do?
Count
back. Count back. We'll have to count backwards. But first, let's say the real time. Shorthand first. 4. So everybody put 4 in your hours. Longhand by fives, it is just past the 6. What is 6? 30. So count by 1, 31, 32. So this clock says 4:32. Now, to do it the other way, we're going to have to count backwards. So go up to o'clock and count by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Can we count 30? No, we have to count by ones now. 26, 27, 28. So 28 minutes before the next hour. What is the next hour? 5. It is at 4, so it's going to be 5. By the way, don't forget, you don't say 5 when you're still pointing to 12. You actually need to move the 11 before you say 5. Because it's not going to sit here on the 12 for 5 minutes, so you don't want to say 5 here. You want to move to here first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 minutes before 5. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about elapsed time. I don't want you to look at your paper, I want you just to listen. The ranger began leading the visitors on a guided tour at 7:30 a.m. They returned to the visitor center at 10 o'clock a.m. So how much time was spent on the nature walk? So, if the tour started at 7:30, what would an hour later be?
8:30.
8:30. So that is 1 hour later. What would an hour after that be? Yes, Grace? 9:30. Are we still to the time that they got back yet? No. But we've already had how many hours pass? 2. So that is 2 hours. Are we going to go all the way to 10:30? No, because they said the tour came back at 10 o'clock. So if it is at 30 and we needed to get to 10 o'clock, how many more minutes is that?
30.
Page. Thank you. Just reach again. Page.
30.
Yes, from the bottom of the clock to the top of the clock is 30 more minutes. So to get to 10 o'clock, we need 30 minutes. So how much time has passed?
2
hours
and a
and
half.
30 minutes.
2.5
I don't know why you're looking at that, because I'm trying to teach you something that's in my book and not your book, to get us ready for that. So I need you just to focus on me and what I'm trying to teach you. All right, now you can see on your paper they have a class schedule. All right, so the first class they have there is math. How long does it say math runs from?
1 hour.
Just read it, please.
1 hour.
Okay, Jonathan, you're not allowed to answer because that's not what I asked. I said the time that it runs from.
8 to 9 o'clock.
Thank you. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. That is what I asked, and I'm pretty sure you knew that that's what I asked. Sit up. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. How long would that be?
1 hour.
1 hour. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is 1 hour because you're changing the hour of 8 to the hour of 9. Did the minutes change? Did the minutes change? No, because they were at 00 and they're still at 00 for 9 o'clock. So the minutes didn't change, the hour changed 1 hour. So everybody find 1 hour and put letter A where it says 1 hour. Is that 1 hour? Did you even read what it said? Please pay attention. All right, next it says reading. I want the times for reading. Do not blurt out an answer.
9 o'clock to 10:35.
9 o'clock to 10:35. So if it starts at 9 o'clock, what is 1 hour later?
10.
10 o'clock. Okay, so we know at least 1 hour passed by, but did it stop at 10 o'clock?
No,
No.
10:30.
It went from o'clock to,
10.
from o'clock to 35. So how many more minutes is that? 35 more minutes. So how much time passed?
1 hour.
1 hour and 35 minutes. From 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock was 1 hour. But then you needed 35 more minutes because it went on till 10:35. So find 1 hour, 35 minutes, and you're going to put letter B. All right, what's the next class?
Science.
What is the time for science?
10:35 to 11 o'clock.
All right, now, does it go from 10:35 to 11:35?
No.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, do you not?
So, we need to find out how many minutes passed from 35 until it got up to o'clock. So you know it's gonna stop at o'clock, right? Because that would be 11 o'clock, because aren't we at 10? What's the next hour? 11, so o'clock is where it's gonna stop, and we're at 35, right? So we're gonna count from 35 up to o'clock. So here's where it's at. Now count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So how many minutes passed from 35 till it got to o'clock? 25. So find 25 minutes and put letter C. All right, the next thing is soccer and PE. Recess. I'm sorry, recess. I can't read it. And my page is this big. You guys know that. That big. And it's so tiny and it's white and it's weird. Recess and PE. So what time does recess and PE start?
11 o'clock.
And what time does it end?
11:45.
All right, so these are always easy. When it starts at o'clock and ends at a minute, you already know what the answer is. What's the answer?
45
45 minutes. From 0 to 45 is 45, right?
Put these.
So 45 minutes, letter D. Then we have lunch. Lunch is from
11:45
to,
12:15.
all right, so here is 11:45. Eyes up here, please. Where is this hand gonna be at 12:15? Somebody raise your hand and tell me, where is this hand, the minute hand, gonna be at 12:15?
That's 3.
Very good, so it needs to go, please sit up and pay attention. It needs to go from over here to over here. Does anyone see that that is half of the clock?
Yes.
So that should already tell you what the answer is. What is half of the clock?
30
But
minutes.
let's count it off just to see. So we are here, 5,
10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Alright, so when it goes from here to over here, which is opposite, that is half the clock, so that's 30 minutes. Yes, it went from 11 to 12, but wouldn't it have when it got to o'clock anyway?
Yes.
And isn't this a quarter of the clock? And then there's another quarter of the clock?
Yes.
So 15 minutes plus 15 minutes is 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, letter E. Alright, we talked about AM and PM last week on Friday. AM, I told you a hint, was at morning. And when does that morning start?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock what?
Midnight.
12 o'clock midnight is when that morning starts. What did I say was a hint for PM? Past morning. And when would that start?
12 o'clock noon.
Very good, 12 o'clock noon. So let's look at these circumstances. School dismissal. Is school dismissal going to be AM or PM?
PM.
PM, past morning. Past morning, that's when it's going to be. So put PM, P period, M period. All right, and the other one is Saturday breakfast. 8 a.m., 9 o'clock, you're probably gonna sleep in a little bit. Some of you probably don't, some of you probably pop out of bed, because you're morning people. But AM, A period, M period, breakfast at morning, AM. All right, as soon as you've written AM, then go ahead and turn your paper over. All right, this is the first one on the desk. All right, so is it less than 30?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to do
Switch.
switch. There's the rest of you. All right, shorthand first.
11.
11. So put 11 for your hour. Longhand by fives.
10.
10, because it's right on that 2. 5, 10. It's right on the 2. And then if we switch, we'll say that it is 10 minutes after 11. Because it's less than 30 in the minutes, we get to just switch their places. All right, the next one is,
3.
no, wait, don't you do that. Look up here, or look on your paper. Okay, so is it less than 30?
Yes.
Yes, so we're just going to
Switch.
switch their places. But let's do it. First, shorthand first.
3.
Everybody put 3 for your hours. Longhand by 5. 25, because it's right on the 5. You don't even have to count by ones. And then we have to
25.
switch, so we're going to say 25 minutes after 3. Are you daydreaming again? And you need to move on to number 3, and we will come around and talk to you in a minute. And you need to stop your daydreaming, because we don't have time for that. All right. Is this one less than 30?
No.
No. So we're gonna have to count backwards. I need you to sit down. Okay, shorthand first. 7. Very good. It is past the 7. It is not to the 8 yet. So everybody put 7. Longhand by 5.
45.
No.
40.
8 times 5 is not 45. You keep saying that. 9 times 5 is 45. What is 8 times 5? 40. Are they on your clocks too?
No.
No? Okay, but you can count by 5s and stop guessing. Alright, so it is 740, sorry. So that means we're going to have to count backwards. So go to the top, count backwards. 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 minutes till the next hour. What is the next hour? 8. That's where the 8 came from. So I was thinking of the next hour already. 20 minutes before 8. All right, sit down and stop tearing it up. If you have to get up to throw more eraser away again, I'm going to give you a towel. Because you shouldn't be tearing it up. All right, is this one less than 30?
No.
No, so we're going to have to count
backwards.
backwards. Shorthand first.
2.
Longhand by 5. 35, because it's right on the 7. Right on the 7. So it is 2:35. Then we go to the top to count backwards. Everybody. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So 25 minutes before the next hour. What is the next hour?
3.
It was 2. That's going to be 3. And by the way, you can count backwards on your clocks on your paper. Okay? So you get used to that, because you will have to do that whenever you're doing it on your own. You're not going to be doing it on your own. You're going to be doing it with the video, but I need you to get used to that on your test. I will be giving you little clocks to take home with you. Okay? But they don't have hands that move. You have to set the hands yourself. All right, the next one is, let me see it. This. Is that less than 30?
Yes.
Yes, so what do we do? Switch. All right, so shorthand first.
3.
3. Very good. It is just after the 3. Longhand by 5s. It's after the 3, which would be
15.
you count by ones. 16, 17. So the time is 3:17. And since it's less than 30, you just switch. So you say 17 minutes after 3. You do understand switch, right? Okay. I don't know why you keep looking at other people's papers. All right. Next one is this. Is that less than 30?
Yes.
Yes. So we're just going to switch. All right. Shorthand first. 5. It is past the 5. Shorthand is 5. So put your hours as 5. Longhand by 5s. 20. It's right on the 4. Don't even have to count by ones. Right on the 4. So we're going to say it is 5:20. And since it's less than 30, 20 is less than 30, we're going to say switch and say 20 minutes after 5. than 30, this side is less than 30. So is it less than 30?
Yes.
That would be a yes. Here's 30, right? Going this way is more than 30. Going this way is less than 30. So yes it is. So what are we going to do? Switch. All right, so everybody shorthand first. 12. It is just past the 12, so put a 12. Longhand by 5s. It is past the 3, but is it past the 4?
No.
So we need to start with 3. 3 would be what?
15.
So count by ones. 16, 17, 18, 19. So it is 12, 19. Since 19 is less than 30, we are just going to switch and say 19 minutes after 12. Alright, this is to see who is paying attention. Somebody back in the back is not paying attention because I keep hearing lots of noise. Alright, is this one less than 30?
No.
No. So we are going to have to count backwards. Alright, let's start with the shorthand. Where's the shorthand? 9. Yes, you did it.
I thought it was at the 10.
No, you didn't. It is not o'clock yet, so it is not really to the 10. It is just getting close.
I don't understand this.
Yes, you do. You need to stop.
How do we know it's not 10:50?
Because if it was 10:50, it would be almost to the 11, because it's only so many minutes till 11. It's really close to the next o'clock. That's how you know. Anytime your minute hand is really close to the o'clock, it's going to look like it's to the next number. But it's not to the number. We just talked about it on Friday. It's not to that number until it actually gets to o'clock. Even when it's right here, it is still not at 10 yet. Because that would be what? That would be 9:59. Right, guys? So, that's how you know it's not to the 10 yet, because you can see that the minute hand's almost to o'clock, so it has to be getting there. Getting close to the next hour. So, it is 9, so everybody put 9. What is the minute hand at?
50.
50, because it's right on the 10. So now, since that's more than 30, 50 is more than 30, right, Zeke? Come on. So what are we going to do? Count backwards. So we're going to say 5, 10. So it is 10 minutes before the next hour. What is the next hour? 10. So it's 10 minutes before 10. That's why it looks like it's at the 10, because there's only 10 more minutes until it is 10 o'clock. Alright? Now we're going to review half past, quarter to, and quarter after. Alright, so let's look at that first clock. The first clock looks like this. Alright, so the minute hand is on the 6. So which one is that? What is 6? 6 is what? 30. 30 is what? Half. 30 is half of an hour. Remember, 1/2 hour equals 30 minutes. So since 6 is 30, that means this is going to be half past. But where's your minute hand? I mean your hour hand? 1. So the time is 1:30. So on the first line, write 1:30. Please stop working ahead of me, because you are going to get it wrong, because you are just writing the word half past, and that is not what you're supposed to do. Now, we're going to say it another way, so 1:30 is the same thing as half past what? 1. You need to write half past 1. You cannot just write half past. If you do not write half past 1, then you only have a partial answer there. 1:30 is the same thing as half past 1. 1:30 is not the same thing as half past. It's half past 1. 2:30 would be half past 2. 5:30 would be half past 5. You guys understand that you can't just write the words half past? I tried to tell you that when I taught you this last week, and I still have somebody already doing it today. All right. The next one looks like this. All right. So remember, when it's at the 3 or at the 9, something. Is 9 quarter to or quarter after?
Quarter two.
Quarter to, because it's fixing to be the next hour, isn't it? So you're gonna go ahead and write quarter to if you want to. Make sure you spell quarter right, not quater, Q-U-A-R-T-E-R, quarter to. Now let's go back and write the time. What's your shorthand saying it is? Three. It is not 4 yet, it's not on the 4, it's on the 3. It's almost the next hour, but it's still on 3. 3 what? What's the 9? 45 minutes. 3:45. 3 is your hour, 45 is your minutes. So that means it's a quarter to the next hour, because it's almost o'clock. In a quarter of the clock, it will be o'clock. So what is o'clock? For this time, 3:45, what's the next o'clock?
4.
4. So it's a quarter to 4. Because when it's a quarter to, when it's at 45, you're going to say the next hour. Because that's more than 30, right? So that's why you're going to say the next hour, because it's more than 30. All right? The next one says this. All right? So now it's on the 3, so it's another one of the quarters, right? Because it's definitely not half. 6 is half. The 3 and the 9 are quarter, so this is going to be quarter after. Because it was o'clock, and now it's after o'clock. So what's your shorthand saying? Your hour hand says it is?
11.
11. So go and write 11. And being at the 3, the minutes say? 15. So it is 11:15. Or it is a quarter after 11. You stay at the same one because it's less than 30, right? So 15 stays at the same hour, 11. All right, the last thing you're going to do is tell me how many minutes are in 1 hour. 60. By the way, if you cannot remember that, just look at a clock and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. 60 minutes in an hour, because it takes from here all the way around here, that's 1 hour, right? All right? So what about a half of an hour? Is that the next one? No, that is not the next one, unless you go across. Yes, it is, because we're going across. 12, 13. Number 13, what blank minutes equals 1/2 hour?
30.
1 half of the clock is 30 minutes. Half of 60 is 30. Go to the next one. How many hours equals 1 day?
24.
Because remember, there's 12 hours on the clock, but it goes around twice. 12 plus 12 is 24. Because remember, there's a 12 o'clock midnight and a 12 o'clock noon. There's a 1 o'clock right after midnight and a 1 o'clock right after noon. So it goes around 2 different times during the whole day. So 24. Just remember, if you can't remember that, please stop playing. You can think of 12 plus 12, plus 12 plus 12, 24. 24 hours equals 1 day. What about blank minutes equals 1/4 hour? 1/4 is 1 quarter. So what's 1 quarter of an hour? 15. So 1 quarter of the clock. Remember we divided it into fourths? That's dividing it into quarters. So each section is 15 minutes. This will be 15, there's another 15, there's another 15, and there's another 15. All that would add up to 60. 2 15s would add up to 30. Yes.
It's actually funny because 15 minutes, right? It's right beside